First of all, what's the update on Joseph or Joe Octave?
We'll know more today. He's going to see a hand specialist just to find out what it was. He had an X-ray that was fine, but it's swollen. So we're just trying to get a read. So I don't know. I don't know if he'll be able to go today, and we'll get more information.
When did it happen?
It happened. I don't know. Was that Tuesday or Wednesday? The one before San Diego State, and then he came. He didn't practice the next day because it was swollen, but then he tried to go the day before the game, and he did. But then I guess it got re-aggravated or something and got swelled up again on the day of the game, and that's why, like at the shoot-around, he just couldn't do anything. And then he tried to, on the day of the game, he tried to go, but he just couldn't, got done with warm-ups and was just, I just can't catch the ball.
Okay.
So.
And how do you view, I guess, the opportunity of tomorrow night, or of Wednesday night? Having a team like Boise come here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to, for our guys, I think every game is an opportunity for us. It doesn't matter right now. I mean, just look at who we're playing: San Diego State, Boise State, Wyoming. We're playing all these, top 60 teams. So, there's nothing but opportunities for us and opportunities for us to really, sort of do what we did Saturday. We played hard. We competed our tails off. We got to do that every game. We've been pretty good at it by and large. And then what we got to do is continue in these situations to learn, okay, well, what do we have to do then to sort of change the outcome? And Saturday, what it was, is what you find is, you got to make some shots. When you play that hard and you compete that hard, and you take care of the ball the way we did against the best defensive team in the country, you're putting yourself in position that you need to be in, but then you got to make shots. We missed 7 consecutive threes and from the 15.5-minute mark to the 5:45 mark. And, you can't shoot 4 for 18, when you're taking care of the ball and doing that and win. And in reality, I said 7, after the game, like if we make 3 more threes, what that does is it puts you in position to do number 2 is you got to incrementally get a little better defensively. And guess what? If you make 3 more threes, that incrementally helps your defense right off the bat. And then maybe what you find is you have 2 better defensive possessions out of those 3. Now the game's a different game maybe, and you know what? Maybe the other team starts to help you a little bit. And that's called that's called winning. That's called the way it occurs. First you have to compete the way we competed, and then you got to learn. Right, and as you do that, now I got to make these shots because we're getting them because we're not turning it over. And that's sort of a little bit muscle memory, And then once you're into that, that's when the other team starts to go, oh, man, this is a tight game. And then, that's when it flips a little bit. So that's what we got to be ready to do again on Wednesday because I'm watching. I know them, but they play extremely similarly to San Diego State. Really, really similarly. So we have to be ready for the same kind of game. Hopefully we will be, and that's when opportunities present themselves, when you're ready for that same kind of game, when you're ready for the hardest game of your life and you're ready for it, you're prepared mentally and physically. That's when opportunities present themselves because you sort of have you've put yourself in the position to take advantage of an opportunity.
And I guess how do you approach it? Do you want the same shots and just hope these guys make it, or do you want?
No, I mean we had 6 wide open threes out of those 7. I mean, wide open, great offense. We had such energy on Saturday with our offense. We made a couple changes in the ball was moving and we were moving. So in the end, that's what it comes down to. I do think this: if you then go ahead and make 3 of those or 2 of those, then maybe what you're saying then occurs. Because now they're going, I got to go guard this, and with that energy you're playing with, then you're getting another kind of layup. Then you're getting something when the ball in the post, So long as you're not making them, you're not putting. We put pressure on them, but you got to make those, in that game during those times to put real pressure on them, and then that's where I think you then see a little bit more. But I don't know, Saturday, I think we were 20 for 31 on 2s. We only took 18 threes, which means we were executing our offense really well. And again, that's why, to me, that's what I want to see again Wednesday, because if we execute our offense like that and we're getting 32s and 23s, that's about right. But then you got to go 7 or 8 for 20.
And then one more thing, the center position. Kind of, what's your plan? Wednesday, next few weeks, in terms of how Lucas Moorman's role is going to be, and kind of how you see that position.
Yeah, I think at this juncture, it's just sort of flip-flop from what it was in the beginning of the year. Nick's playing, and I'm going to tell him again, he played tougher again. He's playing that way. So it's more like, in some respects, as we've gone through the season, it's just flipped a little bit. All right, Nick's going to get, can he play well and give us 24? And Lucas, somehow you got to figure out how to give us 15 good ones. Between the two of them, it's going to be those guys. And at this juncture, Lucas has to sort of, get back to being able to give us some productive, in now 15 minutes. So that's the plan. And it's just, like I said, I think it's just sort of flipped. And that's what happens in the course of a season, So, and if Lucas can give us 12 to 15 good minutes, then he's back on the right sort of curve, and we'll see how that continues going forward. I think the main thing is Nick's, like I said, Nick's, there's a higher level of toughness. He's playing better. Most importantly, I want to see him keep doing it, because that'll be the best way to get Lucas to come in and start to, give us something. And I think for freshmen, you go through a season, that's what happens to freshmen. They got peaks and valleys, ups and downs, and how do you get yourself out of it? And Lucas is working hard. We're working with him every day on his skills and things. So, I just look forward to having him go out there and sort of, assert himself again. And that's really what it comes down to. If he does that, then we're getting the most we can get out of our center position.
Kind of off of that, Coach, this stretch here that you've had, is that some of it just from playing inexperienced and young guys, the peaks and valleys?
Yeah, I think, obviously, like I said, Saturday, we looked like how we've looked basically all year long. You can go to last Wednesday's game at Vegas and you say, okay, there's a little bit of that, down, there it's going down a little. And that's why I thought Saturday was really important, because that happens, especially with a young team, especially in really good leagues. And really all I wanted to see is, okay, that happens. And then, you're, doing okay when you see him bring it back, and is it going to, that's why, again, Wednesday is another big game, because the competition level is extremely high. And are we going to see that same type of level of competitiveness from our guys? And if we do, then that means, I'm seeing and we're seeing we're coming back, because you don't go through a season where you just go like this the whole season. Maybe you do when you're playing with the guys that the teams in our league are playing with, 22-year-olds and 23-year-olds and 5 and 6 of them who've been playing a long time. Maybe you can go like that. But when you have a younger team, you're going to go here and then down, and it's about, okay, how do we get it back? And I thought I saw that. I know I saw it Saturday. Like I said, we need to see it again on Wednesday. We're going to need to see it again on Saturday. We're going to need to see it again the following Tuesday, because that's what you got to have. That's the requirement, first and foremost. And if we can do that, then you get to practice the things we talked about earlier. Like, okay, you're doing that so that I'm practicing making that shot. I'm practicing getting this stop at this time. We're practicing the next level, in this process. Right now, I think we're still practicing. Okay, we got to make sure we're competing at a really high level, and we need everybody. We need Lucas to come back and start giving us, good minutes. We need, Cam Vanderswag to give us good minutes. We need Carter Murphy to give us good minutes. We need 7 and 8 guys, every game. I thought Saturday, we had guys giving us good minutes, but even there, we could have used, a couple more guys giving us some more minutes, because that's what's required to play sort of like a complete game right now to get the outcome we want.
I'm curious, when you're coaching in a game, do you literally see, the peaks and valleys, and is it as simple as calling a timeout, or is it one of those, I got to let them go through this? Mm-hmm. I can't do anything. Not like you're helpless, but do you see what I'm getting at?
Oh, no, sometimes you do say, okay, you got to let them go through it and suffer and see if they can get themselves out of it. Then other times I think for me I know how we're playing. We're playing the right way. We are playing with that sort of pizzazz and what you need in the competitiveness. And then, 3 balls go around and out or something like that. So then I say, well, let me call timeout to help them because they are playing the way that's required, you know. So it's almost like an opposite thing. When you're not playing the way it's required, okay, well, you're going to suffer. Maybe a little bit, you know what I mean? When you are, I'm going to help you out. And then there's always the middle ground in there too, you know, that, you need to try something. But, you know, by and large, I mean, I think that happened here in New Mexico. I called the timeout, you know, at the beginning of the game. I got whatever and got the right response from our guys at that juncture. Saturday, our guys were playing the right way Saturday, you know. So, and again, it's just habits, you know, when I say 22 and 23-year-olds, they've been playing a long time. They've played in a lot of games. They've played in this league. Their teams have done well. They have the habits that are required to be a really good team. You know, we're developing those habits, you know, and the habit is every game, every possession, all the time, having that sort of mental and physical toughness and that high level of competitiveness, because, you know, that's what's required.
Then, I know you're playing at 8 o'clock on Wednesday. Good TV exposure, but maybe not necessarily the fannies in the seats. Does that bother you at all, or is it just one of those whatever?
No, I don't, you know, to be honest, I don't like any of that stuff bother me. You know, the things that bother me are, you know, are we running our offense right? You know, do we have that kind of toughness? I think all that stuff takes care of itself when, you know, guys develop, guys come along, guys grow up. You know, guys get tougher, guys are more consistent. You know, then you get to the point where, you know, you're playing these games for the right reasons. And then if there's fans here, there's fans here, you know what I mean? But we just got to make sure we keep concentrating on what we've been doing and these guys keep, you know, growing and getting better. And that's really important here now because, you know, I think if you could see our guys sort of grow and get better right now, that would be a big step for us, you know, in late February, given the schedule we're playing, to see that sort of like I said, competitive zeal and the pizzazz. If I see that, then, you know, you're getting your answer. These guys are growing up and, you know, the way they need to, and that'll fuel, like I told our guys after the game, you know, you look at San Diego State, you look at Bradley, you look at Cal, you know, they're all older and they're strong. They're strong. I mean, they are strong. So as you go through this process, you do everything that I just said, and then individually you look at those guys and go, okay, I got that. You know what? That's the way I got to become. And that's what April, May, June, July, August, and September are about. And you can do a lot in those months, but you can only do a lot in those months if you mentally and physically care, you know, like you can't believe about what we're doing. And if you do, then we finish this season with that competitive zeal, and then you get those 6 months. Well, then that's when you see another jump, you know, next year, and that's really why these games are really important for us, so that we can see that kind of jump.
YO on Saturday, top 25 team. When you start looking at these teams in Boise as well on Wednesday, do you even talk about, hey, we might see these guys in the Mountain West Conference tournament?
I mean, I don't think like that. I think, you know, we just played San Diego State for the first time, you know what I mean? So that's the first time our guys were seeing San Diego State, you know? So I think now we have played everybody once, so now you go play Boise State. We have a little bit better sense of who they are. They have a little bit better sense of who we are. And I think in these cases, you know, I'm not going to think about a third time. We got to be concentrating on the second time, you know, where are we going to be ready for that kind of game, you know, in February? You know, and they're coming off a game yesterday where they're coming in here and they know they have to win this game. I mean, they know. I mean, I think that's probably going to be their approach. So we have to know that, you know, and we got to be ready for a team like that. But again, I think when you have the habit where you're always ready for games like that, which is what we're trying to get to, you know, I think Boise State is like that already. You know, San Diego State is like that. Colorado State is like that. Well, we got to get to be like that. So I think the best way to do it is just make sure we're ready for Wednesday, and can we show that? And then obviously the same thing. And when you talk about going to Wyoming on Saturday with the way they're playing and where they're ranked, 2:00 game on a Saturday up there, I think everybody in the state of Wyoming is going to be at the game. You know, I mean, so, you know, you're going to be talking about a sold-out place on a Saturday in late February. That is the kind of game that we want to play in. You know what I mean? That is the kind of experience I want these guys to get right now, because then that speeds up what I just said when it comes to, you know, April and May and June, and having that in your head and having that experience to know why you're doing what you're doing going forward. And, you know, these types of games can speed up your process if your guys and if we're locked in and have that sort of, like I keep saying, that, you know, competitive zeal that you need, because I know these teams are going to have it.